Okay, since I had the disappointment of a soundless video the other day, I'm going to try it again. This time I hooked up my headset and we should get a little bit better sound. Should get a lot better sound, actually. Though you might hear the cord rubbing on me, I'm sorry about that. So to prepare your notebook, because the cover, if you use it a lot, will eventually rip and tear, you're going to need several things. You're going to need a brush of some kind. I usually use a sponge brush, but I'm using an acid brush this time because the sponge brush disappeared. I have a feeling it has to do with a 4-year-old. You'll need some sort of binding material. You can use cardboard, which I'll show you how to do that. And you can also use muslin and cardboard. Now we're just going to use cardboard, but this will allow for a tougher bond. So you just take a little strip off and glue it on. And you know what? Give me a second here. Let me walk you through the rest of this. You'll need some spacer blocks. These are basically, it's a plastic block that allows me to glue these together without having to worry about this sticking to or staining the paper. You can use binding clips, or you can also use weights to clamp the piece of material. Now, I know mine looks fancy. That's because it is a fairly precision piece of steel that I made. And what good is one piece of steel when you can have two? And this is why you use the plastic spacing blocks, by the way. See the rust here? The glue that we use, this tacky glue, is water-based and tends to cause the metals to rust very quickly. Alright, so you have all that, and your tacky glue, which I have thinned mine with a little bit of water. You just want a easy to brush consistency. You don't want it super thin, but you also don't want it super thick. I just kind of like to do a little bit of a drip test here. I should be able to pick it up and have a nice long string before it starts dripping, and that's usually pretty good. Might be a little bit too thin, but for the demonstration purposes, it'll be fine. So, cardboard. Now, I use cardboard because it's readily available. Anybody who orders from a particular company tends to get a lot of cardboard. What I do is I just take me a piece off, roughly the size that I want, or get pretty close to it, and I just separate one strip from the corrugations. You just pull it loose, and you can just kind of walk it back and forth. The idea is to try to get it off in one piece. It doesn't always work out. Now, one way that you can make this a little easier on yourself is to moisten it, to wet it. And I may have to use muslin because it does not look like this particular one piece wants to come off. Oh, I lied. So that's a little bit thinner than normal. But this is a pocket book. It's a shop book. It'll be fine. And I don't want to take up too much time anyways. But normally you can pull these off pretty easily from the corrugations. And so what we're going to do is I think I'm going to get another piece. Let me see something here. That'll work. And I'm just going to use some scissors here. Alright, cool. Alright, so we'll try that again. Because I would like it to be fairly consistent. So it's not all that difficult. You just pull it off like so. And you may have to work from both ends, but it's okay. It's not that hard. And it saves you materials. You probably have cardboard laying around in your house right now. There we go. Alright, see? The corrugations are free. Now I have a pretty tough piece of cardboard here. Now, since my binding is only broken a little ways, it's not the whole thing, I can bind all the way, or I can just bind part of it. It doesn't really matter. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to take your piece of binding material, cardboard, cloth. You can use cloth. You're going to fold it in half and make sure there are no loose bits. Okay? And the reason you're going to do that is because you don't want those loose bits they'll delaminate and cause you some problems down the road. And you can pretty it up if you'd like. And in this case, I think I will. And all I'm doing is making it look fairly consistent. Now we have a piece of cardboard, thick, heavy paper that will work as our binding material. You can also use note cards, and they work quite well. However, this will be a much more durable fix. Now, before you do this, you want to kind of lay out where you would like your binding to go. And I'm just doing a partial binding, partial repair, so I'm going to put it here and roll it across. So you can put a pencil mark on there, if that will help you. That way you don't get glue everywhere. And just hold it tight and flip it over. Because you don't want glue going everywhere, because then the squeeze out is a little hard to control. Alright, so now you have a line, which, there it is. You have a line on both sides, so you know where you can keep your glue at. Alright, that's pretty much it so far. Now, I have a piece of paper down so that I don't get glue on my work surface, so it's a pretty good idea. Now, we are going to take our glue and just spread it on there. And this is why I thin it, is because it spreads a little bit easier. Tacky glue is very, very thick, which helps it be tacky. I guess, I really don't know. So once you have your glue on there, you can spread it on both sides if you'd like. I don't find it to be necessary with this particular glue, but you can. The whole idea is to be consistent. So if you do, be sure and do it on both sides. There is one good reason to spread this on both sides, and that is that you can spread some on the spine itself, on the very edge of the book, and that will help your repair be that much more durable. Right, so get both sides here. And typically I weigh these down, but I'm not too concerned about it since this book is not that badly. It's not that bad off. So this is real time. Doesn't take a whole lot of time. It's nighttime. The girls are asleep. Don't have really anything else. I could be watching TV. Of course, you can watch TV and do this, so that's not a really good excuse, actually. Alright, so now we're going to take our paper. We're going to lay it into place, checking everything lines up pretty well. That's pretty good. Now we're going to around to the other side, and you're going to try to pull it up a little bit, because you want it to make a good contact with the spine of the book, because that is the part that's damaged. You want it to be a good repair, a good solid repair. And then you can flip it over and press down on this side. Alright, now what you're going to do is, if you have weights, you're going to put your spacer blocks across here. Try not to get any glue on it. It's pretty easy to get this plastic off of the glue, but if you do, it could rip your repair, and that doesn't do much good. Alright, so if you are not using those, then you can take your binding clips, and you just push them down all the way down onto the spine of the book. And be sure and hold your repair down so that it doesn't slide, because it's pretty slippery now. Push it all the way down. Alright, and then fold the little tabs out. They will keep pressure down on there. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Now, if you mix this too thin, you'll end up with your edges curling over, and I am a little bit, so it could be thickened. The good thing about this stuff is you're just adding water to it. So you can actually add more glue and get a thicker mix. But that's it. That's all you need to do to repair your notebook. And this notebook will last me for a long, long time to come. And show you here. Now this one I've double bound. I've put the muslin on there as well to make it a thicker bind because this book is not quite used up yet. It'll help it be a little bit more durable. So this is why you should use your spacer blocks, because it will rust and stain onto your paper. Now, it's not a big deal for shop notebooks like these, but if you're trying to make it look a little nice, you want to hang on to it. And what prompted me to make this video was my Tom Sachs notebook had the spine had torn, and so the back pages were loose. And so I just took a piece of note card here and I've glued it in place, and it's been in my pocket for the past 2 days. So as you can see, it's still a pretty durable repair, even having been in my pocket all day. That's it. That's all you need to do to repair your notebooks, your paper-bound notebooks. And those repairs should last you quite some time and be very, very durable. So give me a thumbs up and a subscribe, and leave a comment, or if you have any questions, ask away.